Alright, so you see here in front of us is just a nice blank Adobe Premiere. There's no files or footage, but there's one thing I need to show you first before we continue. So this is how I'm screen recording this. I'll make it full, maybe I won't. I'm using this, OBS, it's free, you can get it on almost everything. Now, my audio should sound nice and clear. You can see the levels are just going in the yellow, top of green, it's nice. It's not too loud. Now, if you want to know how to get this, you go into filters, you put on noise, you click, you add, and then you just find it. You put on noise gate, and you let it have the default. Default, I didn't touch any of that. Noise suppression, again, I just have it on good, more CPU usage. Now, no matter what microphone you have, this should iron out most of the background noise. So that is how I'm going into this recording, and I'm gonna watch it back if it's too loud because I can see our max went into the red a little bit. Just move it down a little bit. It's not the end of the world. But I'm gonna show you how to adjust audio also. So if you're too loud when you're done, you can still edit the audio. It's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna stop this recording and I'm gonna pull up a folder with the footage I already got so you can see how we do that. Alright, so I'm recording right now. That's this recording right here. This is the Adobe file that we got, editing workshop in my folder, YouTube videos. Now, I on another screen, I'll even bring it in. This is the card I have. I have a couple monitors, so you're not gonna see the thing because I like it separate. I like it spread out. I don't like a messy workstation. So these are this is the one I took one video. You saw three other ones. That's 33 gigabytes. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna resume it again once we're done. I don't wanna sit here for 2 minutes. So see you in 2 minutes. All right, and we're back. This is another one. This is I renamed everything because I'm going to be talking about that when we actually get the video going. So moving that out of the way. Normally, like I said, you can import media by searching here, and then ooh, that's not it. I lied. I lied. A media browser. This is where you can find it legit by typing it in, or if you have any libraries online. I don't do that because I like it slow and painful. I will click and drag everything individually in. So this is it. 14 minutes of me rambling on about editing, but we gotta make it look nice first. Also, we gotta put these in. So you can see at the top, and I'll talk about this. I just realized I won't be in sync with everything. So these are all empty right now because we haven't done anything yet. So let's put our first one, making an Adobe file, and I'm gonna mute my mic so you can actually hear it because you'll just hear double audio, and I'll interject in and pause when needed. All right, so I'm recording right now. That's this recording right here. This is all right. So already, you're gonna be using this. This is gonna be your like best friend if you don't already know. This is gonna make your life so much easier using this. So right away, I wanted to go in, wanted to, and these buttons. You're gonna be using these buttons. You can use the commands that'll tell them all if you highlight right there. I want a second of gap space. I don't want that much. Just close. You click and drag, bring to the front. Pull that Pull that back out so you can see, and now I'm going to mute again and go back to editing. Alright, so I'm recording right now. That's this recording right here. This is the Adobe file that we got, editing workshop in my folder, YouTube videos. Now, I on another screen, I'll even bring it in. This is the card I have. I have a couple monitors, so you're not going to see the thing because I like it separate. I like it spread out. I don't like a messy workstation. Okay, now I'm gonna get headed to the green screen, let the actual green screen. These buttons on top are pretty important because we're gonna be clicking through them. We're gonna be going to effects in a minute. A little laggy at first, so have patience. I don't have as much RAM as I wish I did on this computer. This is actually what you should do. Go to assembly because everything's big on purpose. Now you can edit this at any time, but it's easier just clicking the buttons because it's like presets. We're gonna be using this section a lot once we're done with the effects. I'll even click and drag this in because you can see we got some treats going with that. We have a lot of treats going forward with this. So do I? Uh, there we go. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop this recording so I can put it in. So one of the first things I want to talk about is I'm I'm rec- I'm using a bigger monitor than 1980 by 1080 or 1920 by 1080. So obviously this doesn't fit. This is my full frame. As you can see, this is a screen recording. It fills the entire frame. This is not. So as I said, effect controls. You can see the scale right here, and you can drag it here. So if you want to just click and drag it until it fits perfectly, you just put it in one. Keep dragging it until it fits in. Now, if it doesn't matter and you can afford to get cropped out a little bit, that's fine. Now to check it, you just click off of it. And look, now I'm in frame. Get up, come back and like. Hello, welcome to your editing workshop. Today we got some nice special treats for you to give you a little taste of editing. We're going to be using Adobe Premiere today. We're going to be only focusing on Adobe Premiere. We're going to be looking at Adobe Premiere today. So what we're going to do first is you're probably saying, how do I even record something? Well, first, just take out your phone, record record something of you, just record, maybe move it around. I don't know, get up, come back in like a minute or two with something random. Make sure you get like a couple different shots or something, not all the same thing. Maybe record yourself talking to yourself in the mirror, maybe something wacky like that. Once you're done with that and you come back, either if you have it on your phone, you got to do it that way. But if you got a camera, you take out that SD card and you plug it right on in. Then, file comes up, you got your footage, you got to save that somewhere. Make sure you save it somewhere good. So now you got a directory going, you got this footage. You have a whole thing of footage you just made, you saved it. So you're like, okay, I'm ready to open Premiere. Are you though? You sure you're ready to open Premiere yet? You don't know what you're doing. How are you going to know what you're doing? That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm going to tell you. Here's some magic effects right now. Are ready? Watch this. I'm gonna do something cool with that. Just you see. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I just did, but I'm sure in 20 minutes I'll know what I did. Anyways, so you got your timeline down below, right down below. All that's right down below now. And then next to you, depending on at the top, there's all different words that will focus, primarily on what you want to do. But right now, let's take this green screen that I'm behind. First of all, you can see I've got a light above me that's removing any shadows unless I do like this. Because you can't get rid of a green screen if if the light's not evenly spread. It'll be all dark and it'll look splotchy and bad. But mine's gonna look like this, not because I'm trying to show an example, but because you got to learn to tweak it. It's not going to be perfect. In fact, you might actually want to cut if you're right now. I'm starting off with a green screen tutorial. You're going to want to cut it into segments if you're moving a lot in frame. But anyways, first thing you do, over on this side at the top where you got to search, type in Ultra key. You'll see a bunch of stuff pop down. Once you see Ultra key, you're going to click it and drag it onto the clip. This clip in particular, because I'm in front of a green screen. But you can do this with any color, but obviously people use green or blue because it's just like that's what you do. So then, now over here, if you're in the editing one, I don't know what mine's going to look like when I screen record this. You're going to see a bunch of different options on the side over here. I'm trying to raise it too high because then, see, I'm going to have to do extra work because I did this. This is a stinky shadow right here. So you got a bunch of stuff on the side that you're going to want to know what to do. So click down the one, because I'm assuming you clicked and dragged Ultra key onto the clip with the green screen or a color you want to remove. So you click on the drop down and you're going to see it's probably going to be somewhere like, I'll use this finger. It's probably going to be close, like somewhere over here. And you're going to want to hit a dropper tool and you gotta eyeball it. I'm moving around a lot normally. You're going to want to like find a good position. Like look at this, no shadow now. Absolutely like no shadow from it's hard to tell. I have like a big blinding work light in my eyes right now. But you're going to hit the lightest part of it, or I could be wrong, it could be the darkest. You'll see what I do in a second. because I'm going to screen record me editing this so you know what I'm doing. This is like a talking guide while I'm going, but it's going to be choppy because I'm going to be pausing it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to have to like screen record without watching it, and then I'm going to have to sync it up to this audio. That's going to be some fun editing. We're going to do some audio syncing, or video and audio syncing. See, I set us up for a great lesson today. I didn't tell you how to put something on the timeline. There's many ways you can put new footage in. If you're like doing what I'm doing, and I have like a couple clips, I'm just going to click and drag it from the folder down below into like a little corner, and I can place it. But if you have something bigger, like our final project that we got, you're going to want to like search by folder when you put it in, and you can stretch these boxes. Just the way I have it set up is what I'm used to using. I'm not going to change. I'm not open to change. So I'm not going to change how it is. I will probably do my project clip by clip. I'm not going to make it easy for myself. I'm just going to do it, I'm just going to do it the way I do it, It's going to be slow and tedious. But don't do what I do. Link it to a directory so you can see all your clips. You can go in other directories if you say like, okay, this is like sequence 1. This is like sequence 1. I know I'm going to use sequence 1. It's not going to be in sequence 3, or this isn't going to be in scene 1, or like you should label everything. The more you label, the easier of a time you're going to have editing this, and it's going to be a lot simpler the more time you take setting up before you actually do it, just jumping in like I am right now. Especially the bigger your project, the more you're gonna realize like, okay, I'm too far in now to go back. So click and drag onto your timeline. No matter what you do, you gotta. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not the only way. You can also have it open every clip in a folder on the timeline at once, but that gets messy, and I don't recommend doing it like that. So let's just say you got a folder directory on the side, and you pick your choose. If it's not a bad idea to watch clips of the footage you took and like rename the file names so you can say, okay, this had a good take at the end. Very, very good idea if you do that. So anyways, back to ultra keying, which we were talking about. With the dropper, again, it might be you got to adjust it, and then it might, on this one frame, when you pause it to do it, it might look perfect. You might not have to do anything. Then you press play, and the next frame it's blotchy and dark. Well, I'm going to show you a trick. On the side here, when you click back down on ultra keying, and you see all those different options, what I do is I start from the bottom, and I read what it is for, if it's like, shadow, contrast, brightness. You got to tweak it. It's going to be different every time. And for my final, I had to cut it up because my green screen, it was a little all over the place, and I got to reshoot some stuff because it's not usable. If it's not savable to where it looks clean, like even if you have a little tiny hue around you, especially around, like my hair's a little like frizzy right now, so when I go to ultra key, that's going to be a little annoying. I'm going to have to probably cut it up a lot to do it. But you just got to take your time. It might be a little tedious, but it'll look good. It'll look really nice if you take the time. I mean, the biggest thing to start is setting up your light so there's no shadow behind you. Because if there's shadows and you're removing a color, because your shadow's like contrasting on the green, it's going to think, oh, this is a darker shade. All right, I'm cutting in here. You can see how I cut it because it stopped looking good. See how that looks really messy? That means it's time you have to change the settings again. As you can see, I changed it from 1 second. You can see the curtain in the back, especially over here. Now you bring it back, and it's gone. You can see like that whole wave is just completely gone now. Now, it might look good here, but if I just skip ahead, it still looks good over here, but the main point with this is that's like the biggest thing is, now you could see me on the side before I started talking. You just got to flick it back and forth until you know it looks good. It's different every time. Like, you can't predetermine settings. And I like to make myself a different color because it's fun. And also, it actually helps a lot with what color, with how the green screen works and what color it's trying to key out. So if you do like, it always makes you pop too, because now it looks like I have a nice little drop shadow around me, so you can see it's dark there, especially with an actual shadow. It just looks nicer because it's preserving the black, and the black outline around you makes, like, it just looks a little nicer. And also it's fun. I mean, if I was watching a video and a guy was like purple, it's more entertaining. Obviously in your movies, unless you're on like an alien planet or something, I don't think you're gonna be using it, but I use it for when I make videos, just doing whatever, because it's more fun and interesting. And it's gonna only cut out a lighter version, so that's what makes it splotchy. That's why, like, when we had our lighting setup, workshop, they stressed how important the key light, backlighting, if you want to do that, 3-point light system. I only have one light right now, and it's directly above me. 3 zip ties to my basement. I guess the wood paneling of the basement. So you got to make do with what you got. But lighting is incredibly important for this. But for basic editing, by default it's going to be a jump cut. Like down below, if you have 2 clips and they aren't in the same thing, it's going to be a jump cut. So again, on the side over here, just you'll see a drop down for transitions. You're gonna have to click it. You can adjust it sometimes. If you do like a dissolve, for example, it might cut off too early or too soon, but you can stretch and lower the length if you just click and drag it. If you want to know how to make something go in slow motion, just right click a clip, go down to speed duration, put in your desired speed. That's another easy thing that I always have to Google since I don't remember. I don't remember. I'll put an example of something I just edited 2 nights ago of slowing down a clip. I'm gonna trim it because it's a long clip. It's a clip of my friend not being good at a game. Just wait,
Jolly
Logan.
green giant crosshair placement.
Alright, so that was a clip. You could see I slowed it down to 40% there. You can do the exact numbers. The whole point of that clip was, of slowing it down, was because it was fast, and it was to highlight his aim was too high. That's the whole point of that clip. And but you can use slow motion for a ton of things if you want to make something feel more impactful, or like what I used it for. The action was too quick, and it was better to slow it down so you could actually see it better. And that's just some of the good uses for if you want to do something slow motion, or to show something more impactfully. If you slow it down, the audience is going to look at it more. They're going to say, "Oh, all right, this is important. I'm looking at something that's important here." And with editing, I'm sure the most we're probably going to do is sound editing. We're probably going to do just putting clips together. I'm gonna step away, and I'm gonna put a little render I did. This is gonna be in my final project. I'm gonna leave frame here, and you're gonna see. Look at that. All right, so right now my render should be playing. You should be able to see it's short because it's just a small sequence, and I put footage of me in front of it. But now check it out, because we green screened it. I'm assuming I'm assuming it's still playing, and I looped it, and now I'm standing in it. And look, oh no, I'm running, guys! I'm running right at you. Oh, look at that. Oh. So that's that. That's a green screen. I think at our level we should be comfortable doing everything I showed, like in terms of, I mean, making a CGI blender or a blender render from scratch. This isn't a 3D animation class, so don't worry about that. It's just showing you how easy it is to use a green screen. Honestly, most editing, unless we're doing like After Effects, is quite simple. I don't want to pull up After Effects. After Effects is good for like particles, smoke, fire, like basic effects like that. Or if you want, like, someone in my in our 101, not our, in my 101 like film flash from like 2 years ago, he had Nerf guns, and when they shot, they had like the muzzle flash, and I could tell he did it all by hand, and it looked really nice. His was really good. I don't remember his name. He could even be in this class. I don't have a great memory. But it was good. He did a great job on that. And it's just taking the time to go through it. Some important oh geez, I was gonna tell you Photoshop shortcuts. That's not gonna help you. I don't really use shortcuts if you want to, because I don't know them. Besides, Control C for copying, Control V for pasting, and then V to oh wait, I do know them. I lied. If you want to cut something, you press C on the keyboard. If you want to go back to the mouse selector, you press V. There's a lot, like, I use it so much. There's a lot I don't realize I'm doing because it's just I go through the motions of it all. We didn't talk about editing sound yet, and that's important. So this is the microphone I'm using. This is the microphone. I used it for an audio engineering class. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It probably won't focus because there's no light over here, like I said. But if I you can't see the levels, but I'm sure that's really annoying, and I'm sure now you can only hear it on one side louder. But again, your audio, like, I'm being loud. I'm sure the audio sounds terrible right now. So you got this, which is the equivalent of like to muffle it. This prevents all wind. You probably heard me breathing heavily like an animal. And I just hit this off frame. I only have a small little aux cord, so I'm pretty limited right now. But I'm going to show you, if you look down below, I don't like how that looks. If you look down below, you're going to right click on your audio. Now, if it's only on going through one side, I'll show you how to fix that, because on my final, I had that problem. I had audio from one side. Editing me here, what you want to do first is you want to copy, okay, down below. Let's just say we're going to cut here, so I don't need that whole file. Just give this little space, because we're editing with this right now. So, like I said, copy and paste the audio that sounds bad, but first let me make it sound bad so you can actually, going through one side. I'll show you how to fix that, because on my final, sorry, it's going through one headphone now. It's going through one headphone. So, you're like, okay, well, how do we fix this? And let's just say, yeah, let's just say it's like this. So you copy, I'll even use that, I'll save that in case I lied and can't do it. So we have this, and now we're like, ooh. You right click, audio channels. Normally, both would be selected. It would look like this. And obviously now, fix that, because on my final, again, right click. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do the opposite. So you do left and right. On the other clip, it's right, and on this one, it's left and left. So you're forcing the audio to go through one channel. So in a way, the quality is going to sound stronger, but this is only like a fix if something has gone terribly wrong or awry. This is what you do to fix that. And now, on my final, I had that problem. I had audio from one side. So what did I do? I copy, or I'm probably showing it now, sharing my screen. You can hear that it sounds different from, let's just say, this audio. Audio sounds terrible right now. So you got this. That was probably a bad example. Let's just go here. Sides, Control C for copy. You can see the levels too as well. I mean, obviously when I was doing this, I was talking into one side. That's why you need this, because any breathing, like exhaling. Again, the filter I have on the screen share, you can't hear me, but if it was off, you could hear me exhaling, you'd hear my keyboard typing. So it's just small little things to keep in mind when you're editing, because people will sit through a garbage movie if the sound is good. But if it could be one of the best movies of all time, but if the sound is bad or echoey or like really scratchy and like the audio is peaking, people aren't going to enjoy that. That's going to be miserable. So audio is one of the most important things to keep in mind when editing. One last thing I'm going to say, you can see when we started it was like 1:30, and now I'm starting to rewatch it before I export it in 5 o'clock. Editing is very slow and tedious. This was especially slow because I had to watch the green screen, then I had to screen record it with the green screen, and then I had to sync up the audio every single time. So the time of editing depends on what you're doing, and this was very slow and tedious. And that's really it. Those are just some really basic, simple editing techniques that you can use. That's really it. Thank you for listening, and now we will take questions.